Another podcast, Aly.
I know. You're going to start the intro.
I am. Okay.
Yeah.
So today on the podcast, me and Aly are going to be talking about when we knew for us it was the correct time to go full time content creation, or at least try to go full time content creation.
Yeah, we're going to give you guys a breakdown of our thought process and why we did the things that we decided to do and our reasoning behind them.
Yeah. I mean, it was a crazy journey. I mean, 4 years of content creation.
We're on 5 now.
But at the time,
Okay.
4 years of working full time, me for the aerospace engineering company and their IT department,
Yeah.
and you being a full time nanny, pretty
Yeah.
much, and you working crazy hours, and we were doing full time jobs, and then we would coming home and doing full time hours in content creation.
I think the biggest change for me was that I could not keep up with the demand and the growth that we were hitting to the point where it was starting to affect my job. My bosses didn't care, but they were like, they were encouraging me. They said, like, if you have the potential and you grow big, like you do it and you run with it. And I was like, why would they were totally in my corner. They wanted me to succeed. And they were so happy for me when I quit working for them. They were like, go kill it.
Yeah, I think it was very similar with my boss as well. Shout out to Mike. He might listen. I don't know. But the man taught me everything I needed to know about IT and gave me a career path that, if God forbid content creation doesn't work out, I can fall back to. And again, he was a part of my journey every step of the way. He knew when I got cool contracts or cool brands
Yeah.
reaching out, and I filled them in. It was a great experience and it was a great workplace. But I think it's a good thing to start talking about is, in the beginning, you didn't even know what content creation was.
Well, Danny, I have to say, when you just said that he gave you a good path to fall back on, that kind of like took me back and I got real nervous because I don't feel like I have anything to fall back on. I don't use my
That is
degree.
not true.
I don't use my degree. I was a nanny. I didn't
Aly,
have
you
any.
took our account from literally nothing. We just didn't even know what we were doing, to over 1 million followers in 3 years. And it's crazy to think about, but you have knowledge. You have that knowledge that you have accumulated over these last 3 or 4 years, not to mention your nannying. You still have the background of that, right?
Mhm.
But you have that to fall back on. You can do consulting for brands. You could be a marketing person for a brand. You know what it looks like. You know what accounts or which influencers would work better with certain brands. You talk to me about it all the time. Like, I think it's something you don't know you have the knowledge, but you do have the knowledge.
I guess, but to say that if I was going to hand someone a resume with the things that I've done, I didn't. I don't feel like I'm worth hiring.
We can. There's always ways of fluffing a resume. That's not an issue. But I believe you have plenty of things to fall back on. That's not a worry
Thanks,
for me.
Danny.
But like I said in the beginning, you didn't even know what content creation was.
Yes.
She was the girlfriend at the time that would, hey, like, how much longer are you gonna game? And I'm like, Aly, I'm not just gaming. I'm streaming. Like, I'm creating content. We're doing these challenges. We're doing stuff to post about. And she was like, she just didn't get it. But then,
The first streamer you showed me was Nick Merckx.
oh yes. And then she was like, wait, this many people are watching him right now? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, wait, what's that number? I was like, that's how many subscribers she has. She's like, how much do people pay to subscribe? And she just like kind of fell into this thing. And I was like, yeah, but that's not like what it's all about. But like, where the big money's at is where he has a community, and then those people just watch him and just enjoy the content every day.
Yeah.
And then the big brands, I think at the time he was
Scuff.
with Scuff, and he was with Astro headphones, and he was with all these different like brands at the time, and those were like the big money's coming in.
So I think
I mean,
it was
right now-
2018, Danny, and you were like, look what all these people are doing. So you constructed a like text and you emailed all the people that you use their products for and
Yeah.
Instagram DM'd them and you were like, I love your product. Can you work with me? You had maybe like
I didn't know how
400
it worked.
followers,
I didn't know how it
one
worked.
viewer, which was me. And you were like, oh, look at this, Aly. And I was like, yes, let's do it.
Yeah, so we didn't know really what was going on, but then like, I think over time we started to really like take it on as a team instead of just me trying to create content. In the beginning, I was creating a lot of Fortnite content, a lot of like funny clips from stream. And again, it just wasn't getting the traction that we thought it should.
Things started to take off when we worked together,
100%.
when we
And
communicated and understood exactly what was going on. And that is the key, I think.
well, for us, it was. For someone else, it might not because they
Yeah.
might not have somebody else, right? It was easy for us because there's not many people who have a supportive significant other or someone to take load off, right? Like in the beginning, if you had off days, I would take over. Whenever I had off days, you took over. And I think a lot of people don't have that.
It's
right?
safe to say that I couldn't do this without you, and you couldn't do this without me. We couldn't do it without each other.
Yeah,
And that's scary, but it's also cool.
Yeah, but again, after explaining to you exactly what content creation was and streaming was, I feel like the first goal was like I want to be a full-time streamer, but then that quickly evolved into I want to be a full-time content creator.
Yeah.
Because the full-time streamer thing is just not reasonable.
We talked about that in the last podcast about, full-time streaming is essentially relying on other people's kindness. And that's a huge ask. People work really hard for their money, and to expect them to give it to you isn't fair. So our goal was to be like, okay, let's build up a community, a safe place where people could come. And then also that viewership and the people watching, that is why brands pay us to put their name on our stream.
On our stream and our community on TikTok. And now, again, Aly grew our Danny and Aly account on TikTok to over, it's like 1,025,000 right now, give or take. And that is where the real money comes in for us, is brands reaching out and wanting to expose their brand to our audience.
So the biggest thing this is starting to lead into is brands reaching out to us and us getting deals. And when we started to realize, okay, this could be a job. The biggest turning point for me was when a paycheck for a video was more than I made in a month of work.
Yeah.
That was nuts.
But like when we first started to like get traction on TikTok, and again, this didn't happen overnight. I mean, first video really went viral and we had 10,000 followers when we woke up. And again, we thought that was a lot, but then now we have over 1 million, right? And at 10,000 followers and that post going viral,
our email blew up, I think.
But not just that, the next day of stream, I had like 70 people watching me play Valorant.
I think we also have to explain this was like the peak of COVID and people were all over the internet because times have changed now. There's not that much of peak in social media and it's harder to blow up.
Yeah, it's definitely harder to blow up. It's harder. There's not too many people, watching streams every night. Just me personally, I've seen viewership decline.
Yeah.
There's still like the diehards, the people that just enjoy spending time and hanging out. And again, that's enough. I'm so happy with just that. But it's just if people are just looking at their numbers, I could see how it could affect them.
Yes.
Right. Sorry, I have to clear my throat.
But I don't look at the numbers anymore. I look at the people who keep coming back and who've become my friends. Like that's the thing. I get to Danny has this amazing community, but it's like our community, and I'm playing games with them.
Yeah.
And they're my friends. I don't know. That's really cool to me. And people just keep coming back. They check in with their lives. People are having kids, graduating.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, if you build a community, that'll last a lot longer than one of those streams that just does customs every day, right? If you're just being someone's outlet for just them to play and just get their mind, like, once you switch games, once you do stuff, like I play 3 or 4 games every day.
And we know the
and I know that works against me.
Yeah,
right?
We know it.
Like I go live, I play CS, and then we play Apex, and then we play Call of Duty, and then we play like a league at the end of the day. It's such a large variety of different games, but again, the same people are in chat because they want to come and hang out, and they're there for us, right? So to bring it all around, I think it's super important to create content that you enjoy while you're on this journey, because again, the right people will be attracted to you as a person, and then those are the people that you want to come to your streams, right? The people that just want to hang out with you as a person, not because you are the best gamer or you're creating content on the best game or the game they play, but because as soon as you switch it up, the interest in you is gone, right?
Yeah.
So our biggest thing was letting people into our lives letting them get to know me and you. And
Never put on a facade. Like
no,
the type
never.
of people that we are on social media,
Yeah.
the way that, people are like, oh, does she only give Danny food just for the video? Or does
That
she only do
happens
this?
probably more times off stream than on stream. So no, without a doubt. And I think it's important to remember that when we first started, it was also not these big brand deals. Like again, we started off an account that had 10,000 followers, and then
Mm-hmm.
someone was like, "Hey, we'll send you this mouse if you want to do like a post about it." And we're like, "Hell yeah, free
Like,
stuff!"
oh, I love free stuff.
So like free merch, free stuff. Like Aly was just any company that was like, "Hey, can you like post about this?" We're like, "Sure, sure, sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure." And then like it was really cool.
And then someone's like, yeah, post about this and we'll give you $100. And we're like, huh?
Ooh, I was like, Aly's like, "We eating steak tonight."
Yeah.
It was really funny. But again, it was like this slowly started to evolve, and we were posting a lot.
So here's another thing that we need to touch on. Danny and I are not risky people. We like the guarantee. We don't like the uncertainty. Like to say, is it wrong to say that we're not big risk takers?
Definitely not. There's no reason to take a risk in certain situations.
We had 2 secured jobs.
100%. And we were like, okay. And then we started to make some income through our thing that we did for fun on the side together.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't feel like work at the time. I think it's starting to feel a little bit more like work now.
Oh, yeah.
But at the time, it was just like, hey, do you want to make this funny, cool post? Blah, blah, blah. And then next thing you know, we woke up and we had another like 100,000 followers.
Yeah,
And we're
I
like,
wanna
oh
say-
my God, that video went really well.
Yeah, like this job that we have, it is not hard, like to do the work. What's hard is the mental.
Yeah.
Like the constant abuse from comments every day. I'm not conditioned to like people just saying shit about me 24/7, and no one's accustomed to that. And at some point, even though you know the truth about yourself and things might not be true, but to hear it hundreds of times a day, you start to believe it. And like that's what kind of Danny's here for me for the most, where he's like, Aly, like, do you realize they're just saying shit to say shit?
So I keep trying to tell Aly this, and again, I understand it's a lot, but those people that are saying these terrible things, not only I feel bad for them because I know they must have some really major stuff going on in their life that they're trying to take it on other people. I get that, but the whole idea that they like there's like what 10 people per post that do that. Think about the thousands and thousands of other people that are enjoying your content.
I try,
But like those people maybe don't go out of their way to comment and say like, hey, how this is awesome, but they still are watching it and enjoying it. So like with anything you do in life, no matter if it's being a professional soccer player, if it's being a content creator, if it's being a lawyer, you're gonna piss people off with something that you say or do, or just being you. There's just nasty people out there. And no matter what you're doing, maybe they're not saying it in the comments, but they're going to be saying it behind your back. They're going to be doing all these things. It's just with social media, it gives people that keyboard behind the screen.
but I have a
big
hard
chest.
time understanding that because I have no ill intentions. Like I don't want people to be jealous or angry of the things I have. Like I don't.
Baby, everyone knows you're very grateful. Even the people that are complete dickheads know that you're grateful for the things you have, but they are just nasty people. There's just terrible people in the world. And
Yeah.
then again, this is one of the things that I think as a couple we struggle with in social media,
Yeah.
because everyone has their opinions, everyone has their nasty comments, and believe me, I know that there's again our core group that still show up to our streams and stuff. I see them go after these people in the comments. And it's like, I don't need
It's
to.
not right.
It's not right,
But it
like,
does make me feel a little bit better.
Of course, of course. But again, as we progressed in our journey, I don't think that was as much in the forefront when we were starting. As we gained traction on TikTok and the paychecks started to evolve into something that
We could pay our bills with.
yeah. So when I first started content creation, I never thought it was going to be a full-time gig. Like it was always just something I enjoyed doing.
It was a goal.
It was a goal eventually, but again, our focus was to just enjoy it. And then if just so happens that I can pay like my bills with that money and then be able to save all of my full-time job money and not need to spend it, that was like a dream, right? Because again, we wanted to plan for our future. We wanted to plan for a home. We wanted to plan for, because we were staying in my dad's house, right? And we were trying to save as much money as possible, like as much money as possible.
So you streamed for all those years, and whatever you just so happened to make, you never touched.
I
All the
never,
stuff that we made from brand deals, never
never
touched.
and it got to the point where there was months that we did very well for ourselves, and at that moment we could have been like, "Eff it, let's just quit." But that's not us, right?
Yeah.
It's just not. We were like, why would we do that? If we're making it work right now, doing 8 hours at my job, 8 hours at your job, and then whatever we came,
10.
yeah, 10 hours at your job, and we had like 2 hours to really do content, and then I started streaming, and then when I was streaming, Aly was editing all the content and stuff that we made in those like hour and a half,
Yeah.
and we did that for 4 years, like 4 years.
So we needed to have enough saved up for a year for our mortgage.
Yeah, that was our thing, right? So sorry to cut you off.
No, you're
but
fine.
so my plan was, and again, I know not everyone's situation is like this, but again, we did the planning. We
We
decided not to have kids.
broke down the
We
numbers.
decided not to have make these big decisions because we wanted to pursue this, and we didn't want it to be done in an unstable environment, right? Because this, at the end of the day, is a risk. Any way you want to think about it. Yes, we did as much risk assessment as possible, and we planned accordingly, and we saved as much money as possible, and we were prepped that if we had no income for a year, that we'd still be able to pay our mortgage, pay our electrical, pay my card bill. We gave up Aly's car, her dream car. We had the nicest Jeep Grand Cherokee, like white with the black trim and the black wheels and everything. We went all out for her because she always had the hand me down. She always had like the car that wasn't
Hey,
hers.
hey.
It's true. And I wanted to supply that, and we were doing well enough to do it. But then once we decided we needed to figure out where we were going to, and if we were going to do this full time, we were like, why the hell would we have two cars?
Yeah.
We don't go anywhere. Our life is going to be revolving around our house.
Another game changer was when we were trying to progress in our future. We were looking for homes in New Jersey and couldn't afford it
Yeah.
and live the way that we want to. So we looked in Florida and we're like, holy crap, we can get a new house. We touched on this like last podcast, so
No,
I'm
but
going to
it's
run
good.
through it. And then the thing is, we were running the numbers about everything that we needed to do and what we could afford. And I just so happened to post a TikTok. Literally, this is essentially what changed our lives, I think.
What?
When I posted the TikTok and I was like, Danny's not going to go full time and expect you guys to donate to him. Like, we're not going to do that. And that's where HyperX came across that video and said, DM us.
Yeah.
And we want to see Danny. They said, like, we want to see Danny grow.
This was when I think the month we had like 2,500 subscribers on Twitch, right?
That was insane.
That all happened very quickly. And again, like for the amount of views, like people that watch me stream every day to the amount of subscribers I have is almost unheard of. Like I average, give or take right now, like 40, 50 viewers, right? And I have almost 1,000 subscribers currently. But at the time I was still only like just under 100 viewers. And I had 2,500 subs, and it was just off the kindness of people. And I keep telling them they didn't have to do it,
Yeah.
and that's not what the stream was about. And I still stand to that. But again, these moments, everyone's like, okay, so like, when are you gonna go full time? They wanted more of Danny and Aly,
Yeah.
and we were like, look, like the audience our followers wanted us to go full time because they wanted more of the content that we were providing.
Okay, but take that, and that just goes to show that you can't rely on that because that stream is still not as successful as
100%.
But that's fine. That's fine. That's what we're saying.
Again, on the outside looking in, everyone's like, "Oh my God, this guy has 2,500 subscribers on Twitch. Like, why doesn't he go full time?" And it was because
That's a fluke. It was a fluke.
it wasn't a fluke, Aly. I mean, we deserved to have the viewers there. We put the work in to get them into the stream. They didn't have to subscribe like
Yeah.
that. But again, our are guaranteed income. That's not guaranteed income.
Yeah.
So the way I always view Twitch income is a coin flip. You never know what happens, right? I'm grateful and we're very grateful for everything we do get on Twitch. But again, that wasn't going to be the basis of why we go full time.
Yeah, it's not anyone's responsibility besides ours to figure out where our
Exactly.
money's coming
So
from.
my my goal always was to get a large enough viewership that brands will pay me monthly, not hey, we'll give you a code, we'll pay you for how much shit you sell us.
Yeah.
That's not it. Granted, there are some partnerships that are good that way. If you have a good, way of promoting their products that doesn't seem like you're shoving it down someone's throat, because you don't want to be that person either. But at the same time, once you have a brand that wants to just be associated with your brand because they think it'll complement theirs, that's when they're going to start paying you money monthly, just passive income. You just have to meet a couple of requirements. Hey, post a couple times here, there, whatever, and then you're set.
So I have a question. This is kind of off topic, but not really. If you think we threw away or didn't prioritize our morals, would we make a lot more money?
Probably.
Right?
Yeah. There's ways of doing things. Sure. I could have taken a couple of deals that I don't think I could talk about because they were contract based.
Yeah.
Before even confirming it, they're like, that's how usually it happens. They're like, hey, can you sign this NDA? We're going to talk to you about an opportunity so that if I don't take it, I can't talk about it. Mm-hmm. But what I can say is that they wanted me to do something on stream and they would pay me daily to do so. And I said no. It was a lot of money.
A lot.
At the time, that was like a peak Twitch time, large viewership. It was a lot. But at the same time, those things are no longer allowed on Twitch. Mm-hmm. So good thing I didn't do it. But regardless, right? You put your eggs in that basket and then you turn into a streamer that can only do that. And then once that ends, you have nothing left.
Yeah.
Right? So our goal, again, was to just build a community. It wasn't, I did probably prioritize stream a little bit too much when we should have been prioritizing our TikTok at the time and creating content for that. But at the same time, I enjoyed my time with my friends and with the community and talking in chat and hanging out.
So just to put this in perspective, with our TikTok account, I don't think we can kind of disclose like what's going on, but if we get one ad per month, we are okay financially. I think that's fair to say.
Yes, I would say that's safe to say because again, we put ourselves in a spot where we have amazing partnerships.
Yes.
And sponsorships that like someone like HyperX who believes in us and what we're doing, right? And partner with us and pays us monthly to just be associated with them and to meet certain,
we have requirements.
We have requirements, of course. But at the end of the day, it's not a lot.
Yeah.
It's really not. And again, they are helping us amazing.
More than you guys could
ever imagine. Yeah. And so between that and we have Power GPU is an amazing partnership that they gave me a dual setup computer. Uh-huh. They're getting $50 off if you use my code, and then I do get kickback on those PCs that are purchased with my code.
But after the HyperX contract, that's where
it was like,
all right,
6 months of negotiation.
6 months negotiation, and then we started telling our bosses like, hey, this is what's going on. We're probably going to quit soon.
Yeah, and that's what it's like. Look, if this goes through, that takes the edge off of like, can we pay the mortgage every month? Can we afford to do this? Like, what if TikTok just falls through in the next
because that was enough money, and then for us, we could do side jobs and pick up the rest for our bills, like DoorDash or nannying.
Yeah. So again, when we took this opportunity of deciding to move to Florida from New Jersey and go full-time content creation and stream full time and do all these things, and we planned it took us a year of planning. Once we decided this is something we wanted to do, we were saving money always.
It's the hardest part was it was something we wanted to do, but we wanted to do it in the way that we wanted to do it in
And
our
felt
way.
comfortable doing it. It was
And it was luck because the HyperX video was the changer. Like if that didn't happen, we would still be back in New Jersey working our
Probably.
jobs. And
they gave us the comfort to try it, and we've been trying it.
they said, "What do you need to go full time?" And
Yeah.
we're like, "What the heck do you mean?"
Yeah, and then we were like, look, like you make us an offer because again, we didn't know our value. We didn't
wanna
know what to
overstep
say. We didn't want to
either.
overstep. And what they offered was amazing, and we took it. The only reason it took 6 months to negotiate was because my uncle, who's a contract lawyer, he he just didn't like how certain things were worded in the contract, and that was just to protect me, right? And again, it wasn't that they were like trying to have me be the scapegoat if something was wrong, but like it was just how it was worded, and he wanted to change it up. And he was working. HP owns HyperX, so he was dealing with HP, and they were constantly going back and forth. But the relationship between me and our contact at HyperX was always amazing. We were just kind of waiting for these two to figure it out, and counting down the days.
The biggest thing I learned from content creation and posting videos is that you never know what could happen, because if I didn't post that video at that exact time like that, we would not be in the position that we are today. So I always say to myself, like, just post it. Just post it.
And I mean, the post was something pretty simple, and it was people were like, "Hey, when are you going to go full time?" And we are like, "Look, that's not our like main goal. We want to make sure we're comfortable, and we don't want you guys to fund our way of life."
No matter like how many times we say it or how we say it, people are not going to believe us, and that frustrates me a little bit. But it's like,
but again, the right people know they know us, right? So like the people that don't get us, they're like, no effing way, like blah blah blah. We're not saying the income isn't great, right? It is. It's like we're super grateful for everything you guys do for us on stream. We tell you not to do it because that's not why we do it, right?
It's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
Obviously, what we get, it helps. It's extremely helpful.
It helps us plan for the future and start a family and do all these different things.
The point is that there's no guarantee with streaming, and you should not rely on other people to do.
No.
And that's what we're.
It's like, hey, I made 2,000 this month on Twitch, right? If you're a kid, you're like, oh my god, that's amazing. I should
Someone comes
totally quit my job and do it. Like, whoa, hey.
Yeah.
Next month, those people might not have gotten their refund check and had money to blow or all these different things.
Like,
right?
hearing that come out of your mouth sounds awful. Like,
it's true.
It's
true. But like, you have to be realistic. I'm always the guy that's going to be reeling you back in. Like, hey, relax, right? Like, yes, you did well this month, but you never know what's coming next month. So you need guaranteed passive income, right?
Yes.
And that's where we knew that between like our Cinch contract that was paying us monthly plus percentage of like the controllers we sold, the power GPU stuff, which that came super late, but the HyperX that was just paying us monthly, and just it was a dream partnership for me. It was the first people I ever DM'd on Instagram, and 4 years after I DM'd them, they ended up hitting us up. It was like a dream come true.
You know what kind of makes me butthurt?
What?
When we first got that HyperX partnership, a lot of people said that you didn't deserve it, and like you applied for it.
Oh yeah, so that was another thing. So like, there's a whole tier list of like, I don't know how to put this, of like,
you could apply.
You could apply as like a small content creator, and you get a code, and then if people use your code enough, then you get bumped up to like tier 2, and then like you can give away one product to like
I still think that's cool.
I don't know too much about it. Oh, great. It's a great way to like get yourself started, especially if you're small. Like, but again, at the time, we did not think this opportunity was going to come for us. Like, there was so many more in our minds, like so many larger creators that could have filled this spot.
You didn't feel like you were worth it?
Yeah. But then now I feel like we are giving them everything they're paying for.
Yes.
Right.
I feel like we earned the money.
We earned our keep.
Yes.
Right. And I think we're going to continue to do that. And I think it's good content and easy for us to do because we love the product.
It was not a lie. It's natural. Like,
I used their stuff. It was the first ever keyboard and mouse I ever purchased
first
for
ever
my
gaming stuff that you taught me about.
and and then yes, of course I tried other things. I've tried other products, but again, that was for me to do reviews and stuff on TikTok. But at the end of the day, it all came back to be using my HyperX stuff.
I think the biggest thing about partnering with HyperX is that when you're recommending products, you have to understand that like people need something affordable, budget friendly, and good quality, and this hits all the marks with that. And it felt good to recommend a product that
wasn't gonna like empty someone's bank account just for them to try something.
Yeah.
I get it. No, it was a dream come true. Allowed us to take the next step. And again, these partnerships that are again passive income, that you're not relying on other human beings that are just enjoying your content to pay for your living.
Basically, the full time was that if we get one ad per month, we could pay our bills, plus the partnership could pay our bills.
Plus our saved money that we've been saving for 2.5 years that if God forbid we needed to dump into, like let's just say we get 2 posts in 1 month and then nothing for the next 2, we would still be okay.
So we had, if shit hit the fan, we would be able to cover it if it's a medical emergency, you know, house, everything. We thought about every little detail of, okay, this could go wrong, this could go wrong. The only thing that we didn't think of was like if we had a kid accidentally, but we were like, no, we can't do that.
But we're good on that front. So we've dodged that bullet until we're prepared and ready for it. But I do think it's important to talk and mention about the planning. I know we talked about it a bit already, but there's a lot of people who have been in our comments like, oh, well, of course it's easy to do without a kid. Like, you have no responsibilities. And then that hit me hard because it was like, you don't think I want a kid? Like, of
there's
course,
nothing more.
There's nothing more that we want, but it's not the right time. So we take the precautions necessary to make sure that doesn't happen so we can focus on the things that we want to accomplish, right?
Like, the whole part of us going full time and like having our own hours is that we need one of us, like we want one of us to be home to be able to raise our children.
100%.
And that is my main goal because I noticed when I was a nanny that the kids were picking up my mannerisms and things like that. And as looking from like if I was a parent, I would kind of be sad about that. And I didn't want that for my kids.
Like, we want to accomplish something and build something that we would feel comfortable and with, that we can have a kid and still continue to do what we love to do, right? And we want to earn enough money in the right ways to do that. And we're going to stay true to our, morals, and we're not going to do anything that we wouldn't like, Yeah.
Do
you hear that?
Yeah,
Is it the birds? The birds. It rains here in Florida, and then like the birds come flying in, and they're like,
and they park it right outside our backyard.
And they just start screaming. But
anyway,
regardless, it's those things, the preparation, the planning that I think a lot of people neglect, and a lot of people want this just to be a like an overnight thing. It's like, hey, like I want to just quit my job and just do this. And I'm like, whoa.
My recommendation is you don't quit your job and you put in both the same amount of work.
We sacrificed a lot.
Yeah.
We saw no friends. We didn't go out. We didn't do anything. We did nothing but work. And we came home and created content.
And the people around us were like, oh, all you do is spend time in that room. You guys don't do anything. They acted like we weren't.
But these are the same people that are now bragging to their friends or you could say it. Like my dad, my mom at the time, like, a lot of people just didn't understand what we were doing, but then now, like, my dad's my biggest supporter, right? But like, again, it's explaining to them what we were doing, why we were doing it, our plan. And then once they understood that, then it's like, okay, we get it. But again, it's all communication. You didn't understand content creation in the beginning, but then now it's our lives, right? So it's really just sitting them down, explaining to them the goal, and next thing you know, like, I call my dad with questions now because, again, he's the smartest person I've ever met. But again, there's just
I thought that was me.
So But like little things like the podcast build setup thing,
Hmm.
just how it would all work, things would just mechanically work. I get that from him. You know, I buy all these things I imagined in my head and where
Yeah.
things would go, and he's who taught me that, you know?
Yeah.
But again, it was hard for him to be like, Danny, like you're constantly in that fucking room. Like, why are you in that room 8 hours a day when you get home from work? Like, it's not good. I'm like, it's really good actually. Like I want this. I need it. Like
Yeah.
I strive for it. And now it's like he's so happy for me.
Hmm.
He's just a so happy for us.
I mean, we're living a dream.
We are, and we're very grateful. But I think a lot of people misunderstand that this didn't just happen overnight. This is
And for
not.
some people, don't get me wrong, for some people it does.
Yeah, some people it does, but for us, for most cases, it won't. And I really think no one can take away the work that we put in for those 5, 6 years
Agreed.
and planning, preparation, the content we made,
There's
the
so
brand deals we did. Like,
there's so many people who are like, oh, once Danny realizes like all she's good for is cooking, she doesn't do any of the work. I was
people,
reading over the contracts, I was
it was
negotiating, I was finding these brand deals. I make all the videos, I edit all of the
Ally's
videos.
role in this, like, in our team is a lot larger than a lot of people think, right? I yes, I might have a lot of knowledge on certain things and certain aspects and certain methods, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, the whole like hard work and the time and the editing and all that stuff, that's all in Ally. Like
And I think
she I didn't enjoy that part as much. And then she just kind of learned and she was like, Danny doesn't really like doing this. I'm going to learn, adapt, figure it out. And now she just does it. And I really do appreciate her for it because I fucking hate some of the stuff that she does. But she just did it because she knew those gaps need to be filled. And our content just blew up.
I think the reason why I'm so offended by everyone's comments is because I have to go through every single comment and I study what people want to see and like the influx of people that we get.
Yeah.
And I'm the one who's subjected to the majority of the comments of talking shit, and you don't see it. It's
No,
like you watch the videos and I'm
but
like,
again, like I read some of the comments, some, not a lot, usually the ones that you send me. But like it for me, my whole life revolved around people talking shit, right? Like that was just a competitive part of me of
yeah.
playing soccer my entire life. Like I could take someone like a teammate yelling at me or someone talking shit or the papers saying that like I wasn't going to perform the next day or whatever. Like I'm just going to be me, right?
Yeah, but I think the thing is that I don't feel like I have a place where I can stick up for myself sometimes because people are like, oh, she's so fast, she did this. You had no idea what was going on behind the camera. And maybe that's our fault for not letting them know.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, look, like you are been doing very good, very well
Well, because I'm
lately.
finally on the right medicine.
You're
We
on the
figured
right
out my health
medicine.
issue,
It
but
was a health issue that was an issue with for Allie, and we together have figured that out.
and I told them I'll like
We're
talk
on the
about it when
right
I'm
journey,
ready, but
and she already, if you like to,
I lost 30 pounds.
Allie lost 30 pounds already,
Yeah.
which is phenomenal. I'm extremely happy for her.
I
She's putting
I
the work
feel
in.
good. Like I actually feel
You're,
better.
I could see it in your face. Like
Yeah.
you just like I could see it, and I'm sure all of you guys can see it as well in
And
the
then
content we
people
make and stuff like that.
again, like it's on us too because we weren't willing to share that, but like your stream declined at some point for 2 months because we literally thought like I could have a life-changing disease that would
Yeah, we spent a lot of time focusing on that and doing things. But again, we're good now. We're chilling.
yeah.
But again, it was figuring out what worked for us.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important for people to understand that everyone's situation is different. Just because what we did worked for us doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if we can help another couple, you got to figure out what makes you different, what makes you want people to hang out with you guys. And I think it was just us being open.
I think the only thing that is the same for everyone is that it won't happen if you don't put in the work.
Yes, you get what you put in.
Eh,
And no,
no.
if you're putting in the right things, if you're posting gaming content for the last 4 years and you're still having 10 views each video, stop posting
I mean,
fucking
yeah, change
gaming
it up.
content. Okay? What we did, I posted Fortnite content for a while. I was like, oh my God, look at this fucking 400-meter snipe. Great. Oh my God.
I mean,
Cool
like
reaction.
Lucci posts clips on gameplay, but the way that he reinvents it and like does storytelling in there.
It's the funny aspect that shows his personality.
Yeah.
Right? And that might work for him, but it might not work for you. So it's understanding what works.
So when do you think someone should start switching it up after?
Like, you could switch it up as you go.
I guess,
right?
yeah.
Like, you don't have to post the same content all the time. You can post some other stuff. Like,
That's what I'm happy. We didn't limit
think
ourselves.
Lowe realized that his like vlog quick cut content was the way to go until he tried it? No.
Yeah.
He tried it. It worked. He tried other things. He ends up, oh wait, I'm gonna go back to that. Does like a whole, I think it was like a 30-day Project 30.
Yeah.
And like, people ate that shit up.
It's
me
great.
included.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, wish I could have this like kind of
Wish I knew how to fucking edit like that. Yeah.
right? And that's like the thing, right? And it gets a lot of people's attention, that quality of content, that videography, right?
Yeah.
But again, it's finding what works for you. For us, it was just being us. It was awesome because we could just literally be ourselves, create funny little 30-second content that kind of came to our mind, little funny relationship skits and funny content that
We are
like
bad actors.
we are, but it's
Oh
okay.
my
but like
gosh.
it's the concept behind the post, I think, which is like, oh, I'm trying to remember my feet.
Yeah, I was gonna say put your feet down.
It's
nasty.
okay. You guys
I
get
wore
free,
socks on
free
purpose.
feet content today. But yeah, no, it's something that I think a lot of people struggle with. We've talked to a lot of people, even when we were at TwitchCon, that were like, hey, like I'm starting to post content. I'm like, so like, what have you been doing? He's like, oh, just this. I'm like, okay,
You know
well,
what?
Stop doing that.
When we were at TwitchCon, I was shocked. They're like, wow, you guys are actually nice. I'm like, what do you mean actually nice?
Yeah, that
What
whole
the
thing
hell are
is
all
the
these
thing.
other content creators do? That would be a new topic.
We will always be us. When we post on social media, we are just being ourselves.
Well, I think it's because we already grew up and we became the people that we are, and there's nothing really going to change that.
No.
Like, we already are who we are.
But if that's not good enough for you, I don't care.
Yeah.
Right? And that's our biggest thing, I think, is understanding that we're never going to change for anybody.
Yes.
We're not going to change for a brand. We're not going to say something that a brand wants us to say. We've declined a lot of money in just brand deals that they want, hey, can you receive this or can you eat this and say this? I'm like, no.
But we also
I'll
have each
eat it
other.
and tell people exactly what I want to say, that if I like it, I'll tell people I like it. If I don't like it, I'm going to tell people I don't like it.
And we also have each other to hold each other accountable. Be like, no, that's not a good idea. Like, you know, we have two perspectives and we go back and forth with, okay, but my thought process is this, your thought process is this. And then we keep going down in tears and tears about back and forth, what could go wrong, what could go right.
I think, again, having
someone to talk to
that is in it to win it with you,
yeah,
right, helps a lot.
Yes.
And just when I'm doing tech content, for example, you'd be like, hey,
I don't understand
talk
what
to
you said.
me, like explain this to me, so at the end of the video I understand this.
Yeah, it is super helpful.
And then when you're talking about food, I'm like, Aly, you gotta talk to people like you're talking to me, like you're across the country and you're telling me how to make chicken cutlets.
Yeah, because Danny, he was doing a tech video and I was like, I honestly don't know what you said. Like, I don't even know what that means. Can you just like break it down in Aly terms? And then he just described it in like maybe kind of like the dumbest way.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
I dumbed it down.
Yeah.
But again, that content isn't for everybody. And I think you need to figure out as a content creator what makes you different than everyone else. It could just be as simple as your personality, your jokes, your humor,
your mustache,
your maybe having 5 monitors, maybe having a unique setup, we continually try to differentiate ourselves from the rest of the people.
There's a reason we do what we do. There has not been one video where we've shown Danny's setup and if someone hasn't got pissed about the 5 monitors or liked it.
If there's a reason, we can make someone comment.
Even if it's hate. I know it's bad.
Like, you know, I mean, there was a couple, what's his name? I always forget it. our friend that goes live after he posts all the
Oh,
time.
Stream Stat.
Stream Stat. This guy is a genius. I don't care what anyone says.
His videos are
His
great.
videos are great. The way his lighting works, I think, again, we learn from a bunch of different other creators and we make it our own. And we take a little bit from each, like what everyone is doing right. And we try to incorporate it into our content and make it ourselves.
So, for instance, there was a video where Danny was rearranging his monitors and he turns the monitor upside down to thin out the bezel.
Yeah, so that the thin bezels would be touching each other, so I didn't have like
Yeah.
the big gap in between.
So I pull out my phone. I said, Danny, they're wondering like something about the bezel, and I said it as
no,
bezel.
you said no. That
Bezel.
one was the. Should I tell him that the monitors are upside down?
Oh, should I
Like he already has it all in place. Like
play dumb? This
and the next thing you know, the comments blow up.
This
It's there on
dumb
purpose.
bitch.
Like blah blah blah.
But I knew I posted something expecting to get the hate, and I could deal with it in that
But
case.
the right people
They knew. They were like, Ally's fucking around.
understood that it was a joke, and those are the people that stay.
Yeah.
Right. And the right people knew that you were joking.
I
The
do a
right-
few things to bamboozle people on the. You know,
But it's part of the game,
Yeah.
right? It's the funny, like you're trolling the people that don't know us, the people that do know us, think it's funny,
Yeah.
you know? And it's like, but again, that's the content that makes us different, right?
yeah,
And once you understand what content that makes you different and that is going well, you stick to it. It's our niche.
Yeah.
It's our couple content. It's our food, gaming, relationship. That's our niche. It doesn't restrict us with the brands and stuff we work with because
Yeah.
it's not like I'm just posting gameplay stuff or just posting Fortnite stuff or just posting tech stuff. We've closed a lot of awesome deals with a lot of food companies, a lot of like just single posts, Mountain Dew, Oreos, White Castle, Wingstop, like huge names.
dream.
Yeah, dream names, right?
Yeah,
And again, we wouldn't be able to do that if we were just posting tech content.
yeah,
Right? It just wouldn't work. So it's kind of letting them into your lives, figuring out what works for you, planning.
yeah. Making sure you have enough money saved. I would not have done it
Stop
without.
taking risks that don't need to be taken.
Yeah,
When you can afford to do both and you can schedule it, you will have to sacrifice some things. Sometimes with your friends, those beers at the bar and
Yeah.
all these things. Believe me, it sucks. But if you really want it, you can make it happen.
and we really wanted it, and now we are seeing the aftermath of what we did, and we'll talk about that next podcast. About
I mean, there's definitely things that weren't expected.
yeah,
You know, we underestimated how long it takes people to pay you. That's the whole thing with content creation. It's after the posts are done, agreement, the
how
whole
many
thing.
people fell out of our lives, and how many things we
All
missed
those
out on.
things. But
It
again,
was a choice. It was a choice, and we're not complaining.
We're not
It's just
complaining
things
at
that
all.
we did not think about, and that's all.
the right people knew the journey we were on
Yeah,
and why we weren't going out and why we weren't answering and why we couldn't come do these certain things. But those same people we're going to hang out with tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So like they're coming to Florida, we're going to their bachelor party, but we're going to their like wedding in Colombia. These are the people that no matter if I didn't talk to them for a year and I FaceTime them, it's still the same conversation.
yeah.
So like some people, you know,
It's just hard to make new friends now, though.
it is. I mean, our friends now are our neighbors that I'm blessed to
We're
have.
obsessed with them. We
They're
love
just
them.
because again, they don't care about what we do.
I didn't. Why
And
should people care about what you do? Like, I don't get that.
It's sad, but it's true. Like you guys might not believe us, but the conversation, oh, so what do you guys do for work? Like, oh, well, we do social media, we do like content creation, we do stuff like we usually kind of butter it up a little bit. We say like, oh, we do stuff, work with brands to create content on social media and stuff, so they don't really think it's like our account, you know.
Yeah. So
Because
okay, we lie, and
We
we're
have
like,
to because sometimes it's like
immediately
oh,
ask us
really?
for
Like so
something.
like can I like do this? Like can you like post me? And I'm like I just met you, dude. Like
Yeah.
I just want to have a normal conversation. I want to get to know you.
I haven't met someone new except for our neighbors across the street that like haven't asked us for something.
Ever.
And I
Like he texts me, he's like, "Hey, you want to have coffee?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" And he comes over and we like make a nice coffee.
yeah.
We sit and talk, and we just
And they don't
BS.
give a fuck. But like I don't even think that just because someone has followers that they're any more important than the person that like
No.
I don't.
We don't see it that way, but a lot of people do. Everyone just is dreaming about that check mark and the follower count and the M next to their name and all this stuff.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I dreamed about that check mark, and I think it's so
Oh, it's great,
cool.
but it doesn't change us.
No, yeah, absolutely not.
So, but again, this is we're going off on a little
Totally off
tangent here.
topic.
But at the end of the day, to conclude,
Yeah.
we did, no joke, from probably a year after we decided to start content creation together, those next like 3 or 4 years was just a constant plan. We figured out how to get to the next step. We're like, oh my God, this could be something. And then after that, it's like, how can we do this with little risk, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't relying on our community's kindness and their donations or their subs. It was putting ourselves in a position to do work with amazing brands that wanted to associate ourselves with the brand we made for ourselves. And once we did that, we felt more comfortable with the consistent income coming from them, not from our audience, from them, the big brands, that we decided that we wanted to take the risk of going full-time content creation.
And it was never if, it was just when. Like we knew we were going to do it. We just didn't know how, but we knew we were going to do
it. If it took
it.
another 2-3 years to hit that big brand deal that decided,
Yeah.
but again, nothing would make us more happy to then renew with HyperX. Our year contract is coming to a close in the next like 2 months or so.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love working with them. They're awesome. I think we put our best foot forward. I think we gave them what they were paying for.
Mm-hmm.
And our hope is just to renew.
If they don't renew, I'm getting a job though.
We will figure that out. But I'm confident. Hopefully we can make something work.
Yeah.
But I loved working with them. They were honestly the reason why we parted ways with a lot of the partnerships we started with.
Yeah.
Because we figured out this is how we're supposed to be treated. We will go into that another time, I promise. Ally's waiting to do that podcast.
Oh, I'm totally waiting to
She
spill the
wants to
beans.
drop the hammer. But yeah, no, we're very excited to be where we're at. We're blessed to have such amazing community members that we would never give up for anything.
Yeah.
And to have that kind of relationship with, I'm happy with where we're at, to be honest.
Me too.
Because yeah, we might only average 40, 50 viewers right now on Twitch.
But we can't say only.
There was a
in the
point,
outside looking in, yeah.
Outside looking in, right? Like our goal is to continue to grow our community and to grow our viewership. Right now, that's an only for me because I see our goals larger, right? But I'm extremely, extremely blessed to be where we're at because I'm allowed to have that relationship with our audience. We can do these community games. I can get to know them.
Everyone's
I know
so nice.
everyone's so kind and so nice.
That's so rare and like so lucky.
Very, very lucky. And to be able to have that relationship. And I'm afraid that as we grow, it'll be harder for us to keep these relationships.
Agreed.
So I want to make sure that these are very strong relationships now. So as we continue to grow, it's easier to keep these relationships, right? So like we're doing, community days on Monday, CSGO. Those days mean so much to me. Yes, they're a little stressful, I'll be honest, because like I'm responsible for picking the teams to make sure they're kind of balanced.
You're the worst at picking teams.
I am, but at the same time, I just love spending time and hanging out with the people that support me day in, day out. And those viewerships are what allow us to, again, land these brand deals.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win. You don't have to ask your community for anything, but they know if they just come hang out, they benefit us.
Yeah.
So it's really a win-win-win. But
win.
So yeah, no, I'm blessed to be with where we're at. I'm blessed to have planned the way we did.
Yeah.
Because it makes our job just a little bit less stressful now.
Hell no, it doesn't.
No, It makes it less stressful. It does.
I mean, yeah, less stressful, but
It's still stressful, but it's
how
less
can it be
stressful. Imagine
stressful
if
when all
we
you
didn't save all that money
ready?
and we didn't do all that stuff first.
How can it be
No, we're not
stressful
doing never.
if you just play video games?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the end of
If
the
it
day,
was easy, everyone would do it.
yes.
And
So,
that's enough.
Yep. So thank you guys. We appreciate you guys. If there's anything that stood out that you guys wanted a little more clarification on, please leave the comments below. We can definitely touch upon those things in the next podcast.
Yeah.
This is going to be similar setup to what we normally are going to be doing from now on. Hopefully we do one, maybe 2 of these a week. We'll see.
I say 2 because I got a lot to get off my chest.
Goodness, that was corny. But yes, so comments, leave them below.
Yeah.
You're going to see this type of content probably cut up not only on YouTube but on TikTok as well, because we're trying to promote this this podcast. I think we're going to stick with calling it Unfiltered. I still have to come up with a logo and all these different things.
It can't be unfiltered if you're not letting me spill the beans.
We will spill the beans when the beans are supposed to be spilled. But there are certain things that we cannot talk about because we're under an NDA. That's the only thing that we can't talk about.
Well, maybe
because I'm not trying to pay. Do you want to pay?
No, but
right.
I think only your name was on the NDA. Oh, never mind. That's not how it works. Forget it.
How it works.
Okay.
Lady.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
For
We
being
love you guys.
here.
We appreciate you guys, and believe me, we are truly grateful for everything you guys do for us day in and day out. And if you ever question that,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but
that's not
I
our intention to.
You guys do so much for us, and
We
we're
are
continuing to try to create the best in content for you guys, and that's all we're focused on, really.
Yeah.